Online scams are increasingly targeting people through everyday searches. And when people look for tickets online, they tend to trust what appears at the top of the results. Well, that trust is now being exploited in an internet ticket scam affecting visitors of Kilmainham Gaol. And our reporter Jack McCarran has been looking into it, and it all started with a visit of his own. Jack, what happened?
Yeah, well, Miriam, to be honest, I was shocked at the scale of this scam, and I came across it a few weeks ago when a group of us went to Kilmainham Gaol to do the tour. And when we arrived at the site, staff told us that the tickets we had bought had actually been purchased on a scam website, and they advised us to cancel the card we used to buy those tickets. Within half an hour of standing around outside, at least 6 other groups arrived at Kilmainham Gaol and encountered the exact same problem. And since then, staff at the jail have told us that at least 1 in 5 visitors at peak times to the jail are also coming to them with the same issue. And this prompted us to look into it, because we were told that some tourists have lost thousands of euros, others have just left distressed at having to cancel their card while visiting Dublin. But what we wanted to look at was the role Google plays in promoting this scam.
And what you found, it all starts with what we're all familiar with, a Google search.
Exactly, and this is what people see when they search Google for Kilmainham Gaol tickets. At the top of the screen here, you'll see the paid for or sponsored results. The web addresses look official, but if you zoom in here on the first one, you can see this isn't an official OPW website. Kilmainhamgaol.world might sound official, but it has no connection to the museum, whose actual website is kilmainhamgaolmuseum.ie. And when we searched to do research for this story, these results all appeared above the official website.
But Jack, how do these ads get such prominence on Google?
Well, that's what's of particular interest, Miriam. Google Ads work on a bidding system, so whoever pays to target certain search terms, like, for example, Kilmainham tickets, they can appear first, regardless of if they're associated with the museum. And while these ads are directing users to fake websites, the advertisers behind them aren't anonymous. The advertisers we identified are marked as identity verified by Google. So that means Google has confirmed who the advertiser is, but not whether they're authorised to sell tickets for Kilmainham Gaol. So the ads look real, they carry Google's verification badge, and they appear above the official site, even though it has no connection to the museum.
And what happens if you actually click on one of these links?
Well, you're brought to a website like this one that uses familiar layouts and colour schemes. Again, the URL at the bottom is a giveaway, but when you're in a rush to buy tickets, that's probably the last thing on your mind. Now compare that with the real website. At first glance, the design, imagery and layout are almost identical. The only obvious sign is that the real site actually offers an Irish language version in the top right corner. So that's how people are drawn in, and how the process ends is at the payments page. Again, there are familiar logos, security language, and nothing obvious to suggest you're not dealing with an official website. For many people, it's only much later that they realise something is wrong. And on Saturday morning, we were at Kilmainham Gaol, where visitors were arriving only to be told that the tickets they had bought weren't valid.
You need to contact your bank first.
Okay.
That was probably a sponsored link at the top of the page, yeah?
I went to what I thought was the website, and I walked in the door and said I had tickets, and I didn't have tickets. And I guess I got a scam website.
It seemed to be the top search on Google, so yeah, that's kind of where I came across it.
I got a link from my friend about the jail to go to visit it. Clicked on the link on the website itself. Took me to buy the tickets. Clicked everything normal, insert my Revolut card, and then took me to a processor page, and took a while, and I got a notification from my Garmin watch that the card is deactivated. Went into the Revolut, it's blocked.
They gave me confirmation, and they said they would send an email, but I never gave them my email address, so I did wonder if something was wonky or weird.
Tried to actually buy them online, but I said, do you know what, there's so many of them available, we'll wait till we got in there. And when we came in, we were told they were sold out, and it was a fake website we were on.
You managed to freeze your card?
Yeah, I did. They recommended I freeze it immediately, so I went ahead and did that with my bank, so I ordered a new card, actually. So we caught it really quick.
297, 265 euros trying to take, 3 times trying to take it away, and they blocked it, luckily.
So how much money are people actually losing to these scams?
Well, luckily for Whitney there that we saw on the VT, she only lost €16 before she cancelled her card as advised by the staff. And Joseph, the other guy we saw in the VT, his bank actually froze his card after scammers tried to withdraw hundreds of euro from his account. But staff told us that some visitors weren't as lucky and had up to 15,000 taken from their account. Whitney, who had just arrived in Dublin from Florida that morning, was lucky because she arrived at Kilmainham and staff advised her, cancel your card. But other visitors who had bought tickets on scam websites and never went to Kilmainham never found out that the tickets they had bought were scam tickets. And ultimately, money had been taken from their account before they knew anything was wrong.
And what's being done about this, Jack?
Well, in a statement to Primetime, the OPW who runs Kilmainham said it's acutely aware of the issue and has repeatedly reported misleading ads to Google. Some were taken down, but others remained live because Google said they didn't breach its policies. Google told us that it removes ads that breach those policies and that the advertiser accounts targeting Kilmainham had their accounts suspended after we brought the issue to their attention. But before coming on air, I had a quick check and lo and behold, there were more fake websites live on Google purporting to sell tickets to Kilmainham Gaol. It's worth saying too that this isn't unique to Kilmainham or to Ireland. Similar ticket scams have been flagged right across Europe in areas like Paris with the Louvre, Anne Frank House in Amsterdam and Auschwitz just southwest of Krakow.
Jack, great report. Thanks for that tonight. Fran.
With us now is Muriel Foley, content creator and digital marketing consultant. Good evening to you. Muriel, tell us, how common are these type of scams?
So these types of scams are not isolated and they're definitely not new. The issue is it's so widespread now that it's escalating. So we're seeing these scams, yes, we're seeing them with high demand ticket sales like Kilmainham Gaol, but we're also seeing them across the retail sector. So brands like Dunn Stores, Woodies and Carrick-Dunn are having big issues with this duplication of their website.
And it is quite easy to be scammed if you look at, we saw some of the images there in Jack's report, they look like for like, and I'm sure with big retailers, the brands are very identifiable and trusted.
This is the thing, the scammers know this. So if you are a trusted brand, they will use that as fodder because it lowers the suspicion for your customers. And it looks real. And with technology and AI and being able to create a website within seconds, they have this perfect recipe to trick people who think they're on the Carrick-Dunn website or who think they're on the Dunn Stores website. You wouldn't think that they would be scams.
Talk to us about closing down sales, because I understand that's a particular area.
This is a big one, and again, this is a recipe that the scammers have found to work really well. So they'll create a business. The most recent one I came across was Ciara and Connor in Cork, which doesn't exist. And they're using this story that the Connor is dying and they unfortunately have to close down, and they're preying on Irish people who, I mean, we do love to support each other, particularly Irish businesses. So they're having this huge 80% closing down sale, but they're targeting their ads to people in Cork and surrounding areas with these kind of sob stories. We're closing down, please support our business, when in fact they don't exist. They're all made with AI. All their images are AI generated and all their content is AI generated. So people who are making transactions on these websites are getting scammed.
Now, Jack and Miriam looked there at some of the telltale signs that maybe the web addresses aren't just right. What are the other telltale signs? What should people watch out for?
So I would definitely look for things like spelling. So if there's misspellings, even clicking on certain links like About Us or Contact Us, they might lead to a 404, which basically means the page doesn't exist. But I always say go to the Facebook page or the Instagram page of that brand or business. That's a good sign to see is it legitimate or not. And then click on the official link from the Facebook or Instagram page. So if it's the like of Carrick-Dunn or Dunn Stores, go to their social pages and get the legitimate URL there. I know in the section there about Kilmainham Gaol, the URL in the ad looked legitimate, but the actual ad that it takes you to is the fake website. But ads are meant to be manipulated, and the scammers control the narrative in ads. So always go to the brand's official social pages if you're ever unsure.
The big thing about scams is people feel silly. They feel that they fell for something they shouldn't have. Even looking at Jack's piece there, fairly web-savvy, younger people, this is something that can hit anybody at a moment in time.
That's the thing. It's not something to be embarrassed about, but I think people still have the, oh, it happened to me, I got caught. And I get messages from people daily who haven't told their friends, their family, because they're so embarrassed they got scammed, but they still want people to be aware that it's happening. And it's something to not be embarrassed about. Scammers are so intelligent and they're so smart that they are creating these scams to make you feel like they're legitimate. They're not. They're going to catch out an everyday smart person. There's no target audience for this. It's everyone.
And their only job is to catch us out. Muriel,
Exactly.
thanks for coming in to us tonight.
Thanks,
Miriam.
Ryan.